Good morning, it's a beautiful day here in Istanbul and it's actually our last full day in the city, but we're so happy because the sun is finally out. It's been raining a lot and today we're going to take full advantage of the whole day. We're going to go to the mosques, we're going to go to the Bazaar, we're going to go to the coolest neighborhoods in the city, and we're going to share fun facts along the way, along with ratings and the time needed in each place, because if we can do it in one day, so can you. Now we have a train to catch. Finally, on our last day in Istanbul, after being here for 2 weeks, we decided to figure out the metro, because if we don't do it like this, we're not going to have time to see everything. So this should be an adventure. And 5 minutes later, we made it here. That was so painless and cheap and fast. We have been literally walking 10 miles every day. I don't know why we didn't do this before, so make sure to figure out the tram. First thing you get here, it's gonna save you a lot of time. Welcome to Hagia Sophia. Directly behind me is the famous Hagia Sophia, which name means holy wisdom, and this is the structure that I wanted to see the most. I was so excited to visit and learn about its history, and what we learned is that this building is 1500 years old and it was originally built as a cathedral. So it was a church initially for the longest time when Istanbul was called Constantinople and was the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire. Then the Ottomans took over and they're Muslim, so they turned it into a mosque. And for the longest time it was a mosque until 1934, when Turkey's first president turned it into a museum. And then last year, Turkey's current president made a really controversial decision to turn it back into a mosque. This mosque is so beautiful inside, and I think because it's the mix of like that it used to be a church and is now a mosque. Just keep in mind that in order to come inside you have to take off your shoes, and women have to cover their heads, and men, they cannot be wearing shorts. Traditionally, mosques, they don't have any images at all inside because they feel like it distracts from prayer time. So what they have is a lot of calligraphy, beautiful calligraphy, and it usually just says Allah or Muhammad, or it has quotes of the Quran. But because this Hagia Sophia used to be a church, very recently they discovered mosaics of the Virgin Mary and Jesus and paintings of crosses, and it was nice that they didn't like paint over them or destroy them. They just cover them with a white piece of fabric, and then they cover the whole thing during prayer time.
And directly across from the Hagia Sophia is the Sultan Ahmet Mosque, also known as the Blue Mosque. And it's not a coincidence that they're right next to each other. The Ottoman Sultan, he wanted to show the Ottoman Empire's dominance over previous civilizations in Istanbul, so he wanted to build something that was more grand than the Hagia Sophia. So he had the Blue Mosque constructed, and it has 6 minarets, and the number of minarets on a mosque kind of indicates the significance or the grandeur of the mosque. And at the time of construction, the 6 minarets was exactly the same as the 6 minarets of the Grand Mosque in Mecca. So the people in Mecca were pissed. They're like, why did you build a mosque as important as ours? So he sent his people to Mecca to build 1 more minaret on the Grand Mosque. So at the time it had 7. I think now it's all the way up to 10 or 11 minarets. So it's huge. But it's a beautiful building. We unfortunately can't see why they call it the Blue Mosque on the inside, because there's a bunch of scaffolding that's covering the blue tiles that adorn the inside of the domes. So it's something that we'll have to come back to when we, I guess, return to Istanbul, but it's still beautiful and a very interesting place to visit.
Hagia Sophia, Sultanate. In Istanbul, like in the historic district, there's the Arasta Bazaar, the Spice Bazaar, and the Grand Bazaar. We just entered. This place is huge. We don't know. We're not, obviously not going to walk the whole thing because there's 61 streets, 3,600 stores. So we're going to see how it feels and how it compares to the other bazaars that we have visited all over Turkey.
Construction of the Grand Bazaar was ordered by the Ottoman Sultan Mehmet the Conqueror in 1450 or so, and he wanted Constantinople, which that was the name of Istanbul at the time, to be the economic hub of the Ottoman Empire. So he ordered this built, and it is still the oldest and the biggest mall or bazaar in the world today. And it's just like a maze of different shops. It's incredible.
There's so much stuff. I wish we had a home and a budget to like shop for everything. There's clothes, there's jewelry, there's home stuff, there's carpets, paintings, art, like anything that you can think about. It is really cool in here. And we heard that people would like harass you, and I mean, it's not that busy today, to be fair, but people are super respectful. Right? They've been very nice. So, Grand Bazaar. There are many entrances and exits to the Grand Bazaar, and this is where we just came out of. Who would have known? And now we're like in the other shopping district. It's funny because right in between the Spice Bazaar and the Grand Bazaar, there's all these streets packed with shops do pretty much the same things you see in the Grand Bazaar, but it's a lot cheaper, and this is where locals shop. This is what our walking tour guide told us. So if you want to buy the same things for cheap, walk in the streets.
So we're leaving the core of the old city and we're walking towards the old Jewish and Greek neighborhoods called Balat and Fener. And we're gonna grab some lunch there. There's supposed to be pretty cool parts of the city, like very trendy and hip. So hopefully we find a good lunch spot. We tried to get in a cab and I opened the door. I said we were going to Balat and he said, problem. I don't know why there was a problem, but now we have to walk like 50 minutes, I think, to Balat.
Like coming into Balat, I can't believe we fell for this. Like we've been in Turkey for 3 months, and this guy, like cutest old guy, adorable. I'll put his picture here just because he just scammed us. and he was like, "Oh, photo, photo." And we're like, "Oh, that's so cute." And then we took a photo, and then he like comes to me and like hands me 3 simit, puts it in a bag, and he's like, "Yeah, 10 lira, 10 lira." I'm like, "I don't want any simit." So we ended up buying one. Don't fall for that. No, it's not nice. I'm gonna eat it though, but it's not nice. It doesn't seem super big here, but we are starving, so we're gonna eat first and then we go and explore. Now that we have food in our bellies and we're fully caffeinated, we can tell you more about Balat.
Balat is an old Jewish and Greek neighborhood in Istanbul. It claims to be the oldest neighborhood in Turkey. How they know that, I'm not so sure. That's what they claim. It's really picturesque and beautiful with the different colored homes. They also have some cool coffee shops and restaurants, so it's a cool place to come and hang out. And we're gonna keep walking around and see what we find.
This behind me are the steps that you see all over Instagram, and here are all like those colorful umbrellas. I'm gonna put them here while I talk so you can see them. If you want to come and take your photo, this is the neighborhood where you can find them. It is definitely a beautiful neighborhood. If you are a photographer, you are going to have the time of your life because it is, I think, one of the most photogenic places we've seen in Istanbul. However, just keep in mind that it's small and it's busy. Everyone's doing the same. Everyone's trying to take their photos. So if you don't want people in your pictures, you do have to come early. We do recommend though, like if you had to choose which neighborhood to visit, we like better Kadıköy, which is on the Asian side of Istanbul. So if you had to choose, we recommend Kadıköy. Now it's time for us to go to our last spot. We're gonna go to Suleymaniye Mosque.
And 45 minutes later, we are at our last stop of the day, the Suleymaniye Mosque. It's 5:30. I think it closes at 6, and it's super quiet around here. It's actually a very nice, like, serene feeling. And what we learned about this mosque is that there were more than just like religious, I guess, components to it. So I think there was like a medical school, a Quran school, primary school, a hammam bath, and they even had like a kitchen to serve the poor. So we had no idea that that was part of like the tradition surrounding mosques, and it's really beautiful on the inside. We're gonna go show you because it closes in 30 minutes, so let's go check it out. This mosque was the biggest in all of Istanbul before the current president built his mosque on the Asian side of Istanbul. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's absolutely like stunning, the inside with the different like details, the calligraphy and the, I guess, stonework on the top. It's, I don't know, we can't get over how beautiful these mosques are. It's absolutely incredible.
We are gonna end the video here with this beautiful sunset and this sweet little cat, which seems very appropriate because this is one of our last Turkey videos. And this is just the perfect way to say goodbye. This is actually our last full day in the city center of Istanbul. So anyways, we wanted to do a lot of these things in one day to see how much you can fit. We usually don't do this quick. We usually try to take our time to enjoy like a lot of the things, especially the neighborhoods. But today was super fun. It was just like busy from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. But if we did it, so can you. And you can be faster than us because we walked everywhere. You can totally just take the train or the bus. We're gonna do a Q&A in a couple weeks, and we wanted to ask you if you have any questions about Turkey or about traveling full-time, anything. Any questions in general. We're going to do a Q&A in a couple weeks, so make sure to leave them in the comments below, and in a couple weeks we'll answer all of them. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Sad try.
This sucks.
Let's have a nice haircut.
We won't leave. We won't leave.
We just sit down at this cafe.
Yeah, it's quad here.
We're gonna stay, just sit down.
We are really supposed to go to leave, but we can't.